Hi there, my name's John Gladman and this is my Azimut 46. I bought her last year from Solent Motor Yachts down on the Hamble. She had osmosis and I knew that when I went to buy her, but she was also a little unloved, the outside and the inside, very tired. She needed a bit of looking after. So hopefully we'll show you around and see some of the improvements that we've made to her. Okay, one of the major improvements that we made to this boat, and the thing that when we bought it, it had osmosis that we knew about, was the underside of the boat. The whole of the underside was actually stripped back and dried. That stripping was a machine, literally, was stripping the bottom of the boat off the gel coat. And then it was dried with infrared heaters and diesel heaters to take all the moisture out of the boat, and that was measured with a machine that measures the moisture levels. Once the moisture levels were right, the boat was then filled and epoxy resin put on the bottom of the boat, and there were 5 layers of that epoxy resin. Once that was all flatted off, we then decided to use copper coat. As you can see, the copper coat on the underside, or you can just about see it above the waterline. And the decision was really made that I was going to own the boat for a few years, so financially it made sense, and ultimately I wasn't going to have to anti-foul the boat every year. So the underside was done in the copper coat, which took us a whole day actually, from 9 in the morning till 9:30 at night, and there was 5 of us. The whole process is quite involved and is very exact in the mixing and the number of layers that go on, the number of coats and the timings. So that was the underside, that was the improvement that we made there, and hopefully for many years to come. Okay, so the other improvements that we made to this boat internally was the recovering and the retrimming of the original cushions. MJ Marine Trimmers did this for us. They've done a previous boat for me, and we decided to go for ivory and mink, a two-tone effect. But in fact we went for the helm seat in mink because the boat itself is quite light internally and we didn't want too much light colour. So we did this, and we also retrimmed these areas as well. Okay, so we're now in the forward cabin, and under the floor of the forward cabin is the bow thruster location. Now originally this had a Vetus, or actually a BCS, but it's a Vetus bow thruster, which was 6 horsepower. Now on the south coast or the east coast where I'm keeping the boat, I thought that the wind and the tide would not be sufficient for a 6 horsepower. So we removed this and put in a side power SE100. Now the SE100 uses the 185mm tunnel, the same as the Vetus, and this is actually the biggest that we could get in, but it's 10 horsepower, so it's a lot more powerful than the original one. And we used the 6 horsepower that was in here in the stern tube that I also purchased from Side Power, so we now have a stern thruster on this boat. So the final change that we made to this boat was the cushions. All the external cushions on the flybridge and the internal cushions down here. Originally they were all white, which was a bit of a glare during the day with all the white fiberglass. Overall, a good experience for me. Some great people doing the re-trimming. The underside of the boat, fantastic job made by the people that did that. And a very good and happy experience for me. Would I do it again? Absolutely, I'd do it again. If people are willing to let their boats go and they're willing to sell them at the right price, then it's a good bargain for anybody looking to do the same.